Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is doing fine. It's quite hot today, but that's how it's been. Make sure you grab a glass of water. It's going to be very helpful. And I would like to first address our hosts, Hong Iji and Garana Art Gallery. Thank you for having us today. I would like to, first of all, could everyone please join me in welcoming our two speakers today, Pak Sony Sudaryana and Bu Zahra Dumaina. Let's give them a warm round of applause. First, let me introduce our first speaker, Pak Sony Sudaryana. He is currently the Director of Digital Ecosystem Development for Indonesia's Ministry of Communication and Digital Affairs. He has at least 15 years of experience in ICT empowerment and startups. Most notably, he is still, since 2016, the coordinator for the 1,000 Startups Movement in Indonesia, which I think is a very impressive role to hold. Before his current position in the Ministry of Communication and Digital Affairs, he was the chief of Startup Studio and also one of the main coordinator of Hub IT, which is an initiative to help Indonesian startups. So he is the main person for the digital startup ecosystem in Indonesia. So definitely someone we want to talk to when we talk about digital transformation on a big scale. I would also like to introduce Ms. Zahra Dumaina. As mentioned before, she is a partner at Impacto. Impacto is an Indonesian-based consulting firm which specializes in transforming and connecting tech companies, adapting to the tech mindset in Indonesia, what are the demands and how to do it. Zahra Dumaina specializes in project management for tech development. And what I find interesting is that she's used her background in communication to help with the democratization of knowledge regarding building tech products. Yesterday we talked about how digital transformation requires a lot of leadership. So Zahra is one of the key people in giving people the keys to digital transformation, which is why I think our presence today is something we can all learn from. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Pak Sony Sudaryana to the stage.
Hello. Good afternoon. Welcome to it's on progress. We call it Garuda Smart. It's inspired to start this part of innovation around Indonesia. This is the second Garuda Smart. The first is in Bandung. There are going to be around 20 hubs across Indonesia. Probably we can start from some kind of what we are going to do in the digital ecosystem. This is the directorate called Digital Ecosystem Development, focus on holistic approach in developing the digital ecosystem. Next. So basically, this is like a launchpad for local startups who want to go meet investors, try to reach new markets. This is the launchpad. And then also this as a landing pad for global or from other countries to understand and know about Indonesia digital ecosystem landscape. So if you want to know about Indonesia digital ecosystem landscape and all the ecosystem development, you can find the Garuda Smart. So this is the target of the government to reach the 8% growth of the GDP. We see one of the engine of the growth is digitalization. We see One of is the ICOP, Incremental Capital Corporation. How much capital is burned to create one point of view. So if less is more efficient. So Indonesia right now around 6.5 we targeted to 4.3 in the next 5 years. We see India started the digitalization around 2012. From the ICOR is from 7.5 to become 3.5 in 10 years in 2020. So very efficient in terms of capital. So example like Gojek is very efficient. The ICOR of Gojek is 2.3. This is the target from the president. Next. Why we like a high targets like 8%? Because Indonesia right now is in demographic bonus. 40% around under 30 years old, so it's very young population. But the bonus demography is the window is only until the next 10 years. After that, we are going to enter a generation. So the momentum to create impact or to create maximum contribution to the economic growth is in this 10 years windows. Because we want to reach out from the middle income. Right now, our per capita around 4,500 to 5,000. If we want to out from the middle income bracket, we need to reform like 1,500,000 per capita, dollar per capita. So that's why we need the 8% to reach the reform growth of the per capita. And it can only one of the way is to digitize the process of the whole sectors. Next. Now, this Director General is to make sure and ensure a balanced distribution of value across the entire retail ecosystem. This is aligned with the government mission to achieve 8% economic growth. What I mean, we divided the retail ecosystem into 3 dimensions. That has to be balanced the value. So and make sure the digital ecosystem or digital economy running on the balanced platform, sustainable platform. Next, I will tell you about this. The first, this is not. Usually this is red. The first level is core level. The objective is to strengthening the telco industry and digital connectivity. We cannot talk about digital economy without the connectivity. There are few challenges in Indonesia, like inclusive of the connectivity, and then the price affordability, and also the quality of the connectivity in terms of speed. This is the core level to how to build a strong, inclusive, and faster digital foundation to support innovation and digital economic growth. The second level, next, the narrow level, surround the core. We call it nurture innovation in the narrow level. Innovation and technology industry, such as startups, AI, emerging technology, and game industries, to cultivate resilient and competitive digital industries ecosystem, from startup to game studios to AI and advanced technology players. This is as an engine for innovation and job creation also, but also export the services outside Indonesia. And then the last one, the broad level. This is digitalization across industries to drive digital transformation across private sector to increase productivity and as I mentioned before, to reduce ITAR and support Indonesian goals in achieving the 8% economic growth. Next. I want to highlight about every level of the dimension. The first is strengthening the telecom industry in development activity. There are several key focus and programs. The first, how to make the telecom industry more healthy and fair competition. Reforming telecom structure for the connectivity, media transformation, and emerging technology like 5G and AI-driven devices. This is from the core. And then the next, the narrow level to nurture innovation and technology industries. There are several key focus. The first is startup development pipeline. We already know about 1,000 individual startup movement in ideation and innovation, and then the startup studio Indonesia for acceleration and product market fit, and then the last one is Startup ID for market access and investor linkage. And then the next is creative game and industry development for ecosystem to strengthen the game developer, e-sport economy, and international market access. And also partnership with global platform. Last week we held the biggest game exhibition in the region. We call it Indonesia Game Developer Exchange. We held it in Bali every year. Last Saturday with global platform like Steam, Roblox, Meta, Google Play to help developer about the capacity building and monetization. And then about AI and emerging industry growth. This place also is used to launch AI startup challenge sandbox supporting the team in this area is around. This is only like a 2 weeks ago. This place is so we are in renovating right now, but it's going to be a sandbox for fintech, for AI driven innovation, smart cities, and also green and sustainability in Jakarta. And then postal logistics innovation, about digital transformation for postal and logistics operator, smart sorting, AI-based route optimization, and last mile digitalization for e-commerce. And also encourage collaboration between postal, state-owned enterprise, startups, and SMEs for integrated logistics solution. And then the last one, in the narrow level, is investment and talent enablement. This is like a matching fund scheme and investor engagement to strengthen the option of capital, and then integration of digital talent scholarship and the idea developer academy to bridge the industry skill gaps. So this is the narrow, and the more broader is to help, we call it ignite, integrate, and impact. This is the impact. How we can help digitalization across industries. There are key focusing programs like sectoral digital transformation in the manufacturing and logistics, AI-driven automation, smart factory adoption, IoT integration, and digital port warehouse system. For this specific sector, we have hub Garuda Spark in BSD. It's like 15 kilometers from Jakarta, Tangerang Selatan, BSDC. It's like a university outside Jakarta. There are also Garuda Spark there, focused on manufacturing and logistics. And then also sector from administrator and fisheries, business planning, digital marketplace, and IoT-based supply chain monitoring. Healthcare and education. There are 2 hubs focused on healthcare and education. In BSD, also in Bali, in Sanur Bali. And SMEs and tourism, like a digital onboarding, e-commerce integration. We have a national payment system, we call it CRIS. CRIS is like a short original from Indonesia. We hope about the adoption and online visibility of enhancement. GovTech also, expansion of digital fiscal incentive for and regulation for innovation. Next, so talk about AI. I think there are the four platform revolution. Following the first is computing around 1970. It made zero marginal cost to computing. And then the second revolution is about internet, 1995. After internet, it becomes the cost of distribution is become zero. Everyone can send an email for free. It shocked the postal industries, but we managed to move on with the revolution. And then the next revolution is around 2006 when we discovered mobile phone, especially like iPhone or the smartphone, and then cloud and social media. This is regularly because production and access to computing and internet, primarily because of the two smartphone. Usually we use like a big computer, but now live in the smartphone. And then the next 2022, this is about revolution artificial intelligence. It costs 0.1 of intelligence and creativity. Right now, in our industry, previously we used like a Big Four consulting, PwC, Ansania. Right now, we do it ourselves. We just talk with AI. I have I think like a big computer or tablet in my office, so I can talk like a human with the device. So we have been about the strategy, how to implement, how to discuss about regulation and incentive. So it's made more efficient, cost of intelligence, and also in terms of creativity. Last week I think there's like a conference about music, how music creation with AI is also shocking the industries. But I think it more become more option in delivering and how the industry grow with AI. Next, the fundamental of AI. This is just information. So we divided into three. The fuel is data, high quality data, and the latest data. And then the second is the engine, the infrastructure. Not only the computation or the cloud or the NVIDIA stuff, but also the connectivity. If you have the big resources of cloud or AI, but you don't have the proper connectivity, it will be useless. And then the last one is the brain, the model or the algorithm. And now we try to build this fundamental. So if you see, usually we only interact with the application layer about the Gemini, Opera, Meta, and then ChatGPT. This you must build it. This is for the government. That is for the sovereignty of the country. We have to put it on our own. So right now, next. Right now we also already built the national AI ecosystem. We have already have two things. This is a mixed approach. In community side, so this already prepared roadmap for AI. And then the second is safety and ethics. So we see combination of horizontal and vertical approach. The horizontal is all sector, but the vertical, like the cloud tech, fintech, or any other sector, is regulated by their own sector. Next. This is the difference of the model in this case. So we call it RIU model, research integration and utilization. So Garuda Spark is acting as producing digital knowledge. The bridge between research center, the university, corporate R&D, and the industry ensure research doesn't stop at academic journal, but follow as a clear pathway toward practical application. And the second, this is function of the integration forum in Garuda Spark. Function as an integration forum where researchers, startup founders, corporation, government, and investors come together to integrate platform like hackathon, demo day, policy sandboxes, and accelerator program. And then the last part is how the MVP or the product can scale to application and utilization. And this is Garuda Spoke. The Garuda Spark promotes startups born from the integration process to be immediately to be tested in the market through pilot project with state-owned enterprises, local government, or private corporation. So this is the difference in this Garuda Spark. This is the model of hub and spoke. The big is hub, focused on creating startups, but the spoke is focused on the talent, helping the talent get knowledge and then create a smaller group of ecosystem of the entrepreneur. Next, as I mentioned, right now in Indonesia, digital economy contributes around 5% to the GDP, around 90 billion last year. But 90 billion is, if we deep dive, is based on consumption. We lack of local production and lack of innovation. That's why we need to create more innovation, more local company to take benefit of the infrastructure that we build. So not only as a user, but also as a producer. We targeted the contribution from 5% last year to 20% in 2045. And expected to grow to target around 360 billion around 2030. So there's a big target, and we see the driver from four sectors. The first is to create more digital startups, and the second is to digitizing traditional business and sector. The third is to grow the games and innovation ecosystem. And then the last one is digital transformation for established companies. That's Ms. Zahra and Tim helping on this four engine of growth in the digital economy. Next. I think this is the closing remarks. So to fully harness the potential of the digital economy, we must ensure a stable foundation, as I mentioned. For infrastructure and a balanced distribution of value, where every stakeholder in the ecosystem can rise together. Because we cannot like a domination from the big tech company reducing the other industry like the telco. So you have to make sure the balanced distribution of value. So it's more become stable foundation. So the digital economy can grow, sustain and stable. So thank you for the attention. That's it from me. Terima kasih.
So my name is Anton. I come from the Philippines, but I'm studying in Singapore. So my question is, it seems that in order for you to be successful in digital transformation, you really need a very big network for you to be able to collaborate with a lot of people, bring people together, and to create something new. So for people to start out the digital transformation journey, how do you propose that people start building that network so that they get as much access to the
network building. Network, how do you build network to build digital transformation? How you start the work network? I think that's the question.
I think similar people like each other. So we have like a series of networking. when you need to collaborate. So we call it like CXO network around all the companies, around the stakeholders that are focused on, as I mentioned, the core engine of digital ecosystem, the digital transformation from the established businesses also, from the big company to the family businesses that wants to transform their sector or their industries to digital. So network is the first, and then the second is the same direction, same view. So we know where we are at. And then the last one is the integration of the resources, because we all in this ecosystem is interdependent. We cannot, I mentioned that, to ensure stable foundation, equal distribution of value. So you cannot win this alone and